Yo, what up guys, Beside here. It's a brand new week in Raid Shadow Legends and it's starting off strong with a new Deck of Fate. This one is called Verdant Deck of Fate and it has a champion up for grabs. Not just any champion, a legendary Void legendary champion. If you know anything about Void champions, they are super amazing. Sometimes way more better than the normal legendary you have in Raid of other affinities, but not as amazing as Mythicals, right? They are right there in the middle. Some of them are super end game and game breaking. I can remember the last time they did a guaranteed Void legendary event, I had to summon my Void Shard about at least 100 or 110 to pick up a King Narcissus, and he paired well with an Ankura and it's breaking all records for me in arena, live arenas, 3v3 arena, anywhere. So whenever I see a Void legendary like this that is up for grabs, I want to take a closer look at this champion's kit. I don't know what his name is, I don't know anything about him. I've been kind of out of touch with Raid these days because of power cuts, but this one caught my eye this morning, so let me just see whether it's one that I want to pull all my shards for. Yes, you will need to pull shards if you want to pick up the 40,000 points required to flip all the cards. If you don't have enough resources to flip all the cards, you might end up going halfway and not getting the champion. So bear in mind that whenever you go for this kind of card flipping Deck of Fate, you should calculate how you want to pick up your points. Make sure you have enough. This time around is 40,000 and you get them from 3 different ways. By getting artifacts, if you're wondering where is the dungeon divers that pairs well with this and spider tournament that is going on for that Fabian fusion, there's the dungeon divers right there. The dungeon divers is hidden right here in this Deck of Fate. So as you're doing your spider farming for this Fabian fusion, you will be getting some dungeon divers points. Maybe you can flip 1 or 2 cards with those points. So that's the dungeon divers, the first way you get points. This is not a reliable way of getting the entire 40,000 points. Nobody has that amount of energy except spenders. But the second best way to get points towards this Deck of Fate will be to summon champions, and the biggest one you get points from is Sacred Shards. So check out the points requirement right there. Let me open it again. By summoning champions, this is how most players would get it done right there. Getting artifacts, yeah, some spider farming will get artifacts, but this is the majority of players will have to summon 25 Sacred Shards. That's the key number of shards you might need to summon to get the entire cards flipped in this Deck of Fate. Now, right after we just finished a summon rush this weekend for the Fabian fusion, where most players had to pull the entire 11 Sacred Shards to pick up the epic. Here we go with another event that requires you to summon more Sacred Shards. If you don't have it, you might have to summon some Sacred Shards, some dungeon divers, and also do the last event, which is going to be a summon rush. So summoning of soulstones. So if you're doing summoning of soulstones, Eternal will give you 3,500 per Eternal soulstones, which means you need a total of 11 Eternal soulstones. Like I said, you can mix up with Sacreds and Eternal. So if you have 3 Eternal, 4 Eternals, and some Sacreds, you might want to pair them together, and you can see that the Eternal has a lot of points. If you even have Immortal Soulstones, you want to summon only Immortal Soulstone for some reason, that's going to be an entire 57 Immortal Soulstones. Nobody has that many. You might have to pay maybe 10, 20, and then finish the rest with Sacred Shards. However you want to mix it up. Also, nobody has 571 Mortal Soulstones to summon this period. Besides the boosted, there is no boosted race for Soulstone summoning, so it's not the best time to summon Soulstones, right? But you want to mix it up with your Sacred Shards. If you don't have any of these other resources, you might just want to go crazy with the entire 25 Secrets and get these points. Now, before you go crazy and start summoning, I want to know whether the champion is even worth it for me. Let me go ahead and review his kit. I've not seen any videos about this champion. I've not heard anybody saying anything about him. So I'm coming in fresh with this one to see whether it's one that I will give my first verdict for. Of course, this is not based on testing. This is just based on the champion's kit itself that I'm reading to figure out whether he has a place in my teams or there's a content where he will super shine and be great for me. Sometimes I might get it wrong, but let me know in the comments where you think this champion might be useful, whether it's a must get Void legendary or is an easy skip. Timber Maker is an A1 that attacks one enemy before attacking, removes 1 random buff from the target. This effect can not be resisted if this champion is under shield. Hopefully he places shield in his A1. Blocks Places block revive debuff if this attack kills an enemy. So he is a damage dealer based on defense. Block revive on an A1 is crazy though. Block revive on an A1, I tell you, is crazy. Alright, increase the value of any shield buff on this champion by 30% of damage dealt. Cannot increase by more than that key amount right here, so it cannot be used from one of those teams that is, Infinity Shield comes. Alright, let me see on the A2. Now, I'm not super impressed by this A1. I like that the fact that it has block revive. There you go. So that's the key point in that block revive right here. This effect cannot be resisted if the champion is under shield. Removes a random buff. That's not an amazing A1 you want to see right here. That means this champion will need accuracy. No, but if he has a shield, you will not need an accuracy to remove that buff. So hopefully the rest of his kit will follow this strategy where if he has shield, he won't need accuracy to remove buffs or to do anything else he needs to do. So let me see if the A2 follows that strategy. Attacks all enemies. That's an AoE hit that will hit all of them. Ignores a percentage of each target's defense equal to 50% of the difference between this champion's max HP and any shield on them. Now that's one that will take you a while to understand. He ignores a percentage of the target's defense to 50% of the difference between this champion's max HP and any shield. So basically, if he has a bigger shield, he will ignore more percentage of their defense. But if he has no shield, I don't think he will not even ignore any percentage of their defense. So this champion relies a lot on shield. The problem with shield like this is that in the arena bolster, he will definitely have enough chance for bolster for him to take full advantage of this bolster and get the full maximum 50% ignore defense in a bolster set. But for any other shield set that somebody else places on him that is not protected, he might get it nuked out of him if he does not go first. Even in bolster, some damage dealers, some tanky champions get their bolster nuked right off them in one hit. Of course, it doesn't affect their HP, but the shield just disappears after the enemy hits them once. So hopefully this is going to be a very tanky shield, like one of those fat shields that almost goes half of his HP. Also destroys each target's max HP by 20% of the damage inflicted. Stacks up to 50% ignore destroy max HP. The effect will ignore any shield buff. Return cooldown. I don't know. I'll rely on those who have tested this champion to tell me if this ignore defense hits hard based on his champion multiplier, right? This skill is also based on his defense. This damage is based on his defense. So that's his main damage dealing ability, right? I'm not so impressed. Let it just be ignore 50% of the defense. But I guess it being part of the shield or makes it even more of a requirement for you to have shield on this champion so you can take full advantage of his A1 and A2. On the A3, this is the one that he places the shield. Hopefully he gets an extra turn. Places shield buff proportional to this champion's defense. Shield based on defense is crazy. Much easier to build than shield based on HP, in my opinion. I think shield based on defense are super tanky champions and they are so hard to kill. Of course, if you can ignore all their defense, it doesn't count. And 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. So he shields the ally, he places strengthen on them too. The shield is based on his defense. Yeah. So even the squishiest champion on the team will have a fat shield. Any champion that places shield based on their defense is super amazing. Also places counter attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. He really wants to nuke the enemies with the A1, so he's placing a counter attack on himself. So you have to choose whether you want to start a battle with your A2 or with your A3. So far, am I impressed by this champion's kit? Nah. Kawn Branchbreaker. Am I impressed by this champion's kit? No. Unfortunately, I'm not. I really thought I'll come in here and look at crazy things that I've never seen in Raid and be impressed. But this it will all depend on how hard it hits. Now, if you already have damage dealers in your arena team, including defensive based damage dealers, you might look at this champion and be like, meh. But if it's gonna be being void legendary, means he gets no weak hits though. But let me see. His passive removes one random debuff from this champion at the start of their turn. So he will remove the stun, the fear, whatever debuff, the freeze that is on him, and then he gets a turn. At the start of the 4th turn on this champion, removes all debuffs from them, then places increased defense on them for 2 turns. That's very specific. At the 4th turn, he removes all debuffs. Increase this champion's defense by 3% for each debuff removed by them. Stacks up to 30% more defense on him. He's probably gonna be like 8k defense by the time he's done maxing out all his defense stats. And he also has a defensive aura in all battles, 33%. So they are not saying you must use this champion in arena. They are not clearly saying that this is an arena nuker, go nuke him, go use him in arena. No. They are saying this champion can be used in what do you call it now? Hydra. This champion can be used in Chimera. They're saying this champion can even be used in dungeon content. Anywhere you want to use this champion is available for you. It's not just a arena champion. I'm looking at void legendary and I'm thinking arena, so that's not the case for him. He can be used in arena, yes, but I feel like this champion can also be used in a lot of other PvE content with great success, where you definitely have enough time to place your shield and enough time to nuke the enemies with this A2, A3 switching that he has to do to get his full advantage of his kit. So Kawn Branchbreaker, is he worth 145 void shards? If you want to compare this with a guaranteed void legendary we've seen in the past of you put 110 void, you get the guaranteed void legendary. This time is if you pull 145 void shards, that's what will give you enough fragments to flip all the cards and get Kawn. So if you compare that 110, 145, 110, 145, it's a clear inflation of the number of void shards you have to pull to get a void legendary. But this time around, it is disguised to look like you have to put only 25 sacred shards, which is still a lot of sacred shards for a void legendary. Well, normal legendaries are 20 sacred shards. So this is the new way they want to do guaranteed void legendary events, because they don't want to give us another 110 void shards legendary. And if they do a guaranteed void legendary like this and they put it in the summoning portal the old-fashioned way, where they say pull 120 void shards and get Kawn or Branchbreaker, people are going to look at Plarium and say, wait, did you just increase it from 110 to 120 and think we wouldn't notice? But this time around, they did it in a different way, in a different event, and says pull 145 voids, get this void legendary. It's still a void guaranteed event, whether it's disguised as this Deck of Fate or not. So this is going to be the new way, because they do not want to give us another 110 void shards champion anymore. So just take it as this way. I know most players will say, but they're not just saying use sacred shards or use void shards. They're giving you 3 ways to get this champion. 3 ways. This is not what it used to be. Before, it used to be just pull 110 and get the champion. There was no other way to go about it. You couldn't pull, for those events, you couldn't pull sacred shards to get the champion. You had to pull 110 void shards. So that's the difference between that type of guaranteed event and this type of guaranteed events. So from the free-to-play perspective, I preferred that version where I had to pull the 110 and get the champion. Right here, where you have to mix and match resources, this is going to be much more difficult, especially for players who do not have soulstones, eternal soulstones. Nope. You don't want to use dungeon divers, not enough energy. You're still stuck pulling these 25 sacred shards if you've been saving that enough. So now I do have 25 sacred shards chilling right here, or 34 in total. Am I going to go for this one? No, because from my calculations, I've seen that this champion is worth 145 void shards to Plarium. Is it going to be the best, my most wanted void legendary in raid? It's definitely not on the list. Sifi is still up there. There's void legendaries that I still do not have that I desperately need. He's not on the list at all. I might be wrong about it, but I'm just giving you my first impression of this champion from what I'm reading about his kit. It doesn't belong anywhere in my roster so far. And I'm only saying that because I have a extensive roster where I have a lot of options. So let me just see my Void Legendaries lock so far. Void Legendaries. So I'm not lacking Void Legendaries. That's what I'm saying. I'm not lacking Void Legendaries in Raid. And yeah, it's gonna be one that I get someday in the future. But for today, for this video, no. I initially thought I'll record the video, see his kit, and immediately go pull 25 sacred shards for you guys and add to the end of this video. But I'm ending the video on a down note, telling you that this champion might be amazing for your account, but it's definitely not gonna be a game changer for my account. So that's my verdict for Kawn or Branchbreaker. What do you call it? Branchbreaker. So he's gonna be the next guaranteed Void Legendary, and we don't know when the next one is gonna be. This type of guaranteed Void Legendary event only come up once in 3 months, once in 6 months. It takes a long time before they launch this type of guaranteed events. So if we are looking forward to the next one that will say pull a specific number of Void Shards and get a champion, expect it in 3 or 6 months, I guess, because they just did a Void guaranteed for us. And we appreciate this type of events that lets you see the champions, see their kits, see what you need to do to get them right out. And we also appreciate this type of event that requires us to do a bunch of events and tournaments to pick up a champion, which we are currently doing for Fabian. All ways you can do to beat content in Raid if you pick up this champion. If you're a newer player and you have the resources and you don't have any Void Legendary, he's not a bad first Void Legendary to get. At least you're not getting a duplicate Arbiter or something crazy like that from 110 Void Shards during a 2x event. So this tells you the champion, shows you his kit, and tells you how many shards you need to pull to get them. So in a way, most players will want to get it. So let me know in the comments below if you're going for this one or not. Do you even have resources? Do you think it will derail your fusion because you're saving for the upcoming champion chase? Yeah. By the way, speaking of fusions, yesterday after I pulled those number of secret shards for the Fabian Summon Rush, I went over the Discord and shared this screenshot with them. That was kind of sad because I really did not want to pull my shards during that time, but I missed out on my Summon Rush. I missed out on one Summon Rush event. So this is what happened. I was opening some mystery shard and I got the rare Hides Teacher. Boom. So after getting the epic from the Summon Rush, I still open more mystery shards and I pick up one rare copy again. So that means I can skip out not on just 4 events, but I can skip out on 5 events. So I guess you can count me as one of the lucky ones who pulled mystery shards to get a rare, which doesn't happen often, right? So I just wanted to add that as an update to the end of this video. Clan boss has reset. Will I get a secret shard? Oh, it has not yet reset for me. 6 more minutes. All right, let me end it right here. Like, subscribe for more daily raid content. I'm looking forward to your feedback below on this new method they are doing guaranteed fusions for us. If you like it, if you don't, and if you're going for this one or not, I'd love to know. Later, guys.